Hello my dear students. So we are discussing periodic table and properties of elements in the periodic table, right? So here in this particular video we will be discussing about electron gain enthalpy. So electron gain enthalpy is indicated with the symbol delta H Eg. Okay, so what do we mean by electron gain enthalpy here? The enthalpy change when an electron is added to neutral gaseous isolated atom. For example, let us say A is an atom, so which is in gaseous form, okay, and this is isolated, we can consider. So now to this atom we are adding an electron. Okay, the energy change during this process, when an electron is added to isolated gaseous atom, it will be converted into A minus, respect to anion we will be getting. So during this process the energy change is there, no? So the enthalpy change we can say. So that can be considered as electron gain enthalpy. Okay, so what is the use of this electron gain enthalpy? Let us say we have elements like element A, element B, element C are there. Let us consider. Okay, now based on the electron gain enthalpy values, we can say which element is easily gains electron, which element is easily gains electron and convert into respective anion. Okay, for example, the element with more negative electron gain enthalpy having more tendency to gain the electron. The element which is having more negative electron gain enthalpy is considered to be having more tendency to accept the electron, and we can term it as, we can also call it as, it is having more electron affinity. The more negative electron gain enthalpy means it has more electron affinity, or I can say it has more tendency to gain the electron. So those element, out of this, those element which is having more negative electron gain enthalpy value are considered as it is having more electron affinity, and can be considered as it is having more tendency to become respective anion. Or for example here, if I give electron to this, it will become B minus. Okay, if it is having more negative value for this, so I can consider B is having more electron affinity. So we will be seeing some examples now once after seeing the what are the factors affecting this electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy. So these are the factors which are affecting the electron gain enthalpy. So what is the first factor? Atomic size. So see, electron gain enthalpy is inversely proportional to atomic size. So smaller the size, higher will be the electron gain enthalpy. Okay, then next, effective nuclear charge. What do we mean by effective nuclear charge? So here Z effective we will be calculating now. So using Slater's rule, like Z effective can be calculated using Z minus sigma we will be using now. So how much the nuclear force, I mean nuclear charge is acting on one particular electron which is under our test. So how much effective, like how much nuclear charge is acting on that particular electron can be considered effective nuclear charge. Okay, so that effective nuclear charge, more is the effective nuclear charge, higher the effective nuclear charge, higher will be the electron gain enthalpy. See, more negative will be the value. Okay, so more negative electron gain enthalpy, higher nuclear charge, more negative electron gain enthalpy, or we can say more electron affinity it has. More effective nuclear charge, more electron affinity it has. Okay, next, screening effect. So what do we mean by screening effect? Yesterday in the last class also we have discussed. So let us say this is the nucleus of an atom. So this is the nucleus of an atom, and these are the electron clouds of that particular atom, let us say. Now here, so let us say this is the outermost electron shell we can say. Okay, so outermost shell we can say. So now in the inner inner orbitals, let us say here electron density is there, I mean some inner electrons are there, and here some outer electrons are there. So due to the presence of inner electrons, the effective nuclear charge working on the nth level electron, the valence electrons will be less, because some of these electrons are closely packed around the nucleus. It means this will protect, or this will act as a shield, as a screen to the outer electrons. Therefore effective nuclear charge on the outermost electrons will be less when due to the presence of this shielding electrons which are inside or inner orbitals, right? So this is what we can consider as effective screening effect or shielding effect. Okay, so higher the shielding effect, lower will be the effective nuclear charge, hence lower will be the negative electron gain enthalpy. Okay, so due to this screening effect, the effective nuclear charge will be less, therefore it will be having less electron gain enthalpy. Okay, see, less negative electron gain enthalpy we are saying, it means relatively less electron affinity. Okay, now here electronic configuration, see, half filled and full filled electronic configurations are stable, we know. So by addition of electron to that system, it is difficult, right? See, already they are stable. If we add one more electron, that will become unstable, right? Therefore addition of that electron to the half filled or fully filled electronic configuration is difficult. So it will be having electron gain enthalpy as 0 or it will be positive. It means the particular element is having less tendency to gain the electron. That's why the value electron gain enthalpy value either it will be 0 or it will be positive. If a species is having more tendency to gain electron, the electron gain enthalpy will be negative only. If it is positive or 0 means what it is indicating? It is having less tendency to gain the electron. So this should be clear. Okay, you should not be confused. Okay, so these are the values of electron affinity values we have provided here. So either you should remember the values or at least you make the orders. For example, what is the electron affinity order for, for this halogen family? So looking at the values, see, fluorine is having minus 328 and for chlorine it is minus 349 and for bromine it is minus 324, like that we have the values. See, so general thing what we discussed here in the last slide, factors affecting atomic size. Smaller the atomic size, more is the electron gain enthalpy we discussed. But if you see fluorine and chlorine is having more than the fluorine. What is the reason? Like chlorine is having more than the fluorine, negative value. Okay, so here generally for other elements, if you see down the group, the value is getting decreased. Like see, it is becoming less negative, but when it comes to fluorine and chlorine, the value for chlorine is more negative than the fluorine. Why it is? Because see, fluorine is having smaller size, which is having only 2s and 2s2 2p5 electronic configuration, and when it comes to chlorine, the size, this is smaller size, the size of chlorine is relatively bigger than the fluorine, and it is having 3s2 3p5 and 3d 0. So since it has vacant space or space to accommodate the incoming electron, see, after adding the electron, what it will become? It will become F minus, and here also it will become Cl minus. So this negative charge on the smaller size fluorine atom makes repulsive interactions due to its smaller size. But whereas in the case of chlorine, since it is having larger size, relatively this will be more stable than the fluorine. Therefore, chlorine is releasing more amount of energy when compared with the fluorine. Therefore, what is the actual size for the halogens? Chlorine. Then next, I am talking about in the sense of just apply mod and write. So I am talking about delta Heg. So these are absolute values. Okay. So take chlorine, then next fluorine, next bromine, next iodine. So this will be the order. So there are frequently asked many times, this question will be seen in the exam. We will be seeing the question also. Okay. So next, what about like this oxygen family elements? So when it comes to oxygen family, so here also we have some exception. So what do we expect? Oxygen will be having more than the sulfur, like that, no? But here also when we compare second period elements and third period elements, generally third period elements will be having more electron affinity than the second period elements. So sulfur will be more than oxygen. This is for sure. Again, so when we consider the experimental data also, the data is saying that, see, sulfur is having more than selenium, then next tellurium, then next polonium, and least is oxygen. So you should remember that oxygen is least in that respective series, electron affinity values. Okay, this is also important series, and this is also asked many times in the exam. Okay, so when it comes to nitrogen family, see here, for nitrogen it is having positive value. Why it is having positive value? Just now we discussed those elements which are having half filled and fully filled electronic configuration are considered to be stable. So the elements with stable electronic configuration will be having either positive value or 0. right? See, it is having positive because it is highly stable electronic configuration, half filled configuration, and similarly for noble gases also you can see for neon and argon, all of these are having some positive values, right? It means they have very less tendency to accept the electron. Okay, similarly second group elements, see here, this will be also having some positive values. They are also having like 2s2 configuration, I mean ns2 electronic configuration, like I can write it as ns2 electronic configuration and general electronic configuration. So it is fully filled again. So this is also having positive values are near to equal to 0, right? So this group and nitrogen and noble gases, you can remember they will be having positive values. Okay. So this is the table. You should you can have some idea, make some proper like orders of these values, I mean these elements using their values, so that will be helpful for your exam. Okay. So next, so what about absolute value of electron gain enthalpy of halogens? Okay, just now we have discussed about this, so just tell me the answer for this. So just in the last slide only we have discussed. So I told you chlorine will be having more than fluorine, then next bromine, then next iodine. So which option is there? So option 4 is the correct one. Okay, so here whether maybe JEE mains or MSET or maybe NEET, whatever the exam, so just practice some PYQs from particular topic from different exams or different papers, that will give you more clarity on the topic or concepts. Okay, so here correct order of electron gain enthalpies. So I told you for oxygen family also, so which will be having more sulfur, then next selenium, then next tellurium, least is oxygen. So option 4 here also. Okay, then next so what about electron negativity? So what do we mean by electronegativity? So electronegativity is a measure of tendency of an atom or element to attract the bonded pair electrons towards itself in a covalently bonded molecule. For example, we have a molecule like this, HX is a molecule, let us consider. Okay, so now X, let us say X is an electronegative element, let us say some halogens, okay, chlorine, fluorine, bromine, like that. So if this is having more electronegativity, En means electronegativity, let us consider. So due to the electronegativity of this hydrogen, this particular atom, then this hydrogen, what happens, whatever the bonded pair of electrons are there, the shared pair of electrons will be dragged towards which side? So that will be dragged towards most electronegative atom. Okay, so since it is having more tendency to drag the bonded electrons, I can say the element X is having more electronegativity. So what do we mean by electronegativity? See, let us say H and X are two atoms which are covalently bonded. Okay, now these covalently bonded electrons are more pulled towards itself, are more dragged towards itself by this atom X, let us consider. Now since atom X is dragging these electrons towards itself, therefore I can say atom X is having more electronegativity than the hydrogen atom. Okay, so like that we can consider. So due to this electronegativity difference, the molecule shows some polarity. Molecule can be considered as polar molecule. Okay, the bond becomes polar due to their electronegativity difference, and we can write partial positive charge over here and partial negative charge over on the other atom. Therefore I can say this molecule is polar molecule, like HCl, HF, all those things considered as polar molecule. Okay, and even a water molecule also polar, because respective bonds are having difference in their electronegativity, right? HO, like this we are writing. So due to the electronegativity of oxygen, what happens, the bonded electrons are taken more towards or dragged more towards oxygen, therefore we will be getting positive charge over hydrogen, here it will be negative charge. Similarly same story apply over here also, that will be negative. Tendency of oxygen to drag the bonded pair electrons towards itself is more, therefore it will be getting partial negative charge, and hydrogen will be getting partial positive charge. Therefore overall molecule is polar molecule, we can say. Okay, so in order to check overall polarity, we have some other techniques also, but here based on the bond polarity we can say the molecule is polar. Okay, next, what are the factors which are affecting on, like factors on which electronegativity depends? The first factor is atomic size. So what do we mean by atomic size? How much size it has? atomic radius it has. Okay, so down the group what happens in the periodic table? Atomic size increases because of the incoming electron is added to new nth shell, right? Therefore size increases, and if size is increasing, what happens? See, this is a positive charge, let us say, this is the nucleus, let us say, and these are the electron clouds, we can say, or the orbitals or the shells, we can say. Now due to these shells, see, size increasing means what happens from the center of the nucleus, the distance is increasing, the effective nuclear charge on the nth level will be decreasing. I mean nth level orbital or valence electrons, it is decreasing. Therefore what happens is electronegativity also decreases. So electronegativity is inversely proportional to size. Okay, so electronegativity can be indicated with the symbol chi. Okay, so electronegativity indicated with the symbol chi, and this electronegativity is inversely proportional to size. More size, less electronegativity. Therefore down the group size increases, electronegativity decreases. Next, nuclear charge. Second factor is what? Nuclear charge. More is the nuclear charge, more is the electronegativity. It means, see, electronegativity is nothing but dragging the electrons towards itself. It means a particular element is having more positive charge on it or effective nuclear charge on it. What happens? It will easily drag the bonded electrons towards itself. That is nothing but electronegativity only, right? So more is the effective nuclear charge, more is the electronegativity. So I can write here it as, so I can relate it like this. Effective nuclear charge, NC means nuclear charge, is directly proportional to electronegativity. En means electronegativity. Okay, like this you can relate. Okay, the next one is hybridization. So we have different hybridization as we seen in the chemical bonding chapter. So we have different hybridization like sp, sp2, sp3, like this. So we know s orbital is very spherical, very symmetric around the nucleus. Therefore it has more penetrating capacity, we have studied. It means that will be very close to the nucleus. Therefore more is a percentage of s character, more is the electronegativity, we can remember. So here in sp hybridized molecule, the percentage of s character is how much? See, this is one orbital, this is second orbital. So total 100% if I say, so two orbitals only there, one is s, another one is p. It means each one is having 50-50 percentage, right? So here three orbitals are there. So for each one, let us say 33.33 percentage will be there, right? Like that we can say. And here the s percentage of s character is in sp3, it will be 25%. So where in which hybridization more s character is present? In sp hybridization. Therefore it will be having more electronegativity. So which is having more electronegativity? sp hybridization is more than sp2 than sp3. This is how you can remember. Okay, now therefore I can say, so I will give you one application also here. So like this I am writing, this is alkyne which is having two sp hybridized carbons. Okay, and here I am writing CH3 CH. This is ethane which is having sp3 hybridized carbon. Now tell me which carbon atoms are more showing more electronegativity. These two carbons are having more electronegativity when we compare with these two, because these are sp hybridized, this is sp3 hybridized. Since these are more electronegative, they can polarize this bond very easily or more effectively, and they will drag this bond towards themselves and creates more acidic nature. When we compare the acidic nature of these two compounds, see, alkyne is having more acidic nature because of the electronegativity of this this alkyne group, alkyne functional group, which is having sp hybridized carbon. Therefore it will be having negative charge after releasing as acidic hydrogen. It will be like this. Okay, but these are not acidic because they are having relatively almost similar electron negativity difference. Okay, I hope the application also clear. So which is more acidic compound out of these two? Alkynes are more acidic than alkanes or alkenes, we can say. Okay, because of electronegativity difference is more in case of alkynes. Okay, next, arrange the following elements in the increasing order of their electronegativity. Now tell me which element is having more electronegativity. So in the periodic table, just remember, in the periodic table, the highest or the first most electronegative element is fluorine. Okay, fluor, and second most electronegative element is oxygen. Here in the next slide I will be providing you the data or the values of electronegativity. This will be very helpful for your preparation. So take a screenshot of it and you can use it as a reference. Okay. So see here on Pauling scale, for fluorine it is having 4.0 as the electronegativity, for oxygen it is 3.5, the next for nitrogen it is 3.0 and for carbon it is 2.5 and for boron it is 2.0. So it means when we are moving from metals to non-metals, electronegativity values is increasing. Here it is just 1.5 but when we go this side the value is increasing. From S block to P block, what happens? The electronegativity value increases and size decreases. From top to bottom electronegativity value decreases, and see top to bottom electronegativity value decreasing, as we know size increases. Okay, so based on this just tell me, so fluorine is having more than oxygen, then next what we have? Nitrogen we have, so nitrogen will be the next one, and then next we have carbon and silicon, which are belongs to same group. Let's see here, carbon, silicon, how much value it is having? 2.5, this is 1.5. So down the group what we know? Electronegativity decreases, therefore carbon is having more than the silicon. And what is the other element we have? Yeah, only 5 elements. So choose the similar option here. The correct answer among the following. So fluorine, fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, silicon. So option 2 is the correct answer. See, this is in the last year NEET exam. So purely it is based on this table itself. Okay, so it is better read the NCERT book very carefully, and this kind of data when they provide, observe it very carefully and make some orders out of it. So like make the order of electron gain enthalpy of particular group and electronegativity of particular group. So compare the nearby atoms with each other. Therefore it gives us more clarity on the like conceptual clarity which will help us while solving the questions. Now tell me, which are the following options, in which of the following options the order of arrangement does not agree with the variation of property indicated against it. So first property what they are asking, electron gain enthalpy. So what they are asking us, electron gain enthalpy. So electron gain enthalpy order for halogens. So this question we already did. So tell me, electron gain enthalpy is more for chlorine than the fluorine. So you should take it as chlorine more than fluorine, then next bromine, then next iodine. Like this it should be, but given in the wrong order. So therefore first option is incorrect. So what they are asking, which are the following options does not agree. Yeah, this is not agree. So it means you have to choose first one also. Okay, so you need to choose this first one. Okay, and let us check for the other options also. Increasing order of metallic radius. So tell me whether metallic radius is correct or not. Down the group what happens? Metallic radius down the group atomic size increases na, so metallic radius also increases. So this is also correct. Okay, I mean it is agreeing with the variation against it. I mean what are the property they mentioned, it is correct only. So we no need to choose that. Next ionic size, increasing order of ionic size. See, we know always anions are like, here it is F minus because all of them are isoelectronic species. So we know anions are having a larger size. When we have same isoelectronic species, anion will be having a larger size than these cations. I already told size is inversely proportional to this nuclear charge. More nuclear charge, lower the size. Therefore it is having more positive charge, which is more nuclear charge, so it will be less in size. So this order also correct only. So we no need to choose this because they are asking not true or not agree variation in the properties. So next, what about first ionization energy? First ionization enthalpy will be more for which one? See, yesterday only we discussed this concept. If you haven't watched that video, just go to the like periodic table classification of elements second video, so you can access all these things in that particular video. See, we know nitrogen is having more than oxygen, right, because of its half-filled configuration as we discussed yesterday itself. So go and check that. So it should be nitrogen more than oxygen, then next carbon, then next boron. It should be like this, but the order is given incorrectly. So you have to choose option number 1 and option number 4. So they may be given, provided options are like option A 1 and 4 are incorrect. I mean option B 1 and 2 something like this they have given maybe. So you have to choose this one because 1 and 4 both are incorrect only, right? So they both are not agreeing with the whatever the property they mentioned. So you can go like that. Okay. So now the last topic we can say here oxides. So what are oxides? In oxides oxygen will exist with oxidation state O minus 2. So these are the oxides we know. So if oxygen is in minus 1 state, for example H2O2 if I say, so it will be peroxide you can say like O2 2 minus. It means each oxygen atom is with minus 1 like this, charge is minus 1. So you should call it as peroxide. So here all of these are oxides only. Now one more oxide is there we have, I mean type of oxygen oxide anion form. So that is O2 minus 1. So this should be called as superoxide. In superoxide what is the charge of each oxygen? It will be minus 1. How much the charge for each oxygen? It will be minus 1 for each oxygen atom. Okay. So these are superoxides. Like example is KO2 is a superoxide. So for this I am writing sodium peroxide Na2O2. This is sodium peroxide which is having minus 1 charge for each oxygen atom, and normal oxide means it should be having minus 2 charge like Na2O. Na2O means what is the oxidation state of oxygen here? Minus 2. Oxygen atom is having minus 2. Therefore these are oxides. If it is like this you can consider it as peroxide. If it is like this you should say it as superoxides. Now here since they mentioned about oxides we will discuss about that. Here we have 2 questions. So using the questions only we will discuss the concept here itself. See, in the periodic table here we have S block elements, S block, and here we have D block, and here we have P block. At the bottom we have D block, F block, right? Here we have F block. So what I am saying is, since we know F block elements these are metals, and here also we have metals, but these are highly reactive metals, and as we move from S block to P block what happens? Metallic nature decreases. So here we will be seeing somewhere here like a series of elements in the diagonal which are having metalloid character and which separates metals and non-metals, right? Okay. So all these metals, like here let us say if I discuss about S block elements, so S block like these metals form basic oxides. So what I am saying, when a metal, for example sodium metal is there, when it is reacting with oxygen it will form Na2O. Okay. So this is a oxide of sodium, so which is basic in nature. What is the nature of this metallic like metals forms? What I am saying, metals forms basic oxides. So you should remember this word, basic oxides. Okay. And non-metals forms acidic oxides. So these are the general statements we can say. Okay. So here calcium is a metal, it is forming basic oxide. Okay. So here silicon dioxide is there, so this is acidic oxide. So here even metals also, like transition metals we can say, they will also form either, so both basic and also amphoteric oxide and also basic acidic oxides also. So generally for a particular element, if the oxide is in its highest oxidation state, so those are in most of the cases will be acidic oxides. So here silicon dioxide is there, so silicon dioxide and calcium like carbon dioxide if I consider, so these are in +4 oxidation states. So both of these are acidic oxides only because they are already in maximum oxidation state, so they will be acidic oxide you can consider. Okay. So now silicon dioxide is acidic but calcium oxide is basic because calcium oxide calcium alkali metal, alkaline earth metal, so which forms only basic oxides. Okay. So here what they are asking, acidic oxide, acidic in nature, oxides with acidic in nature. So here boric anhydride B2O3 which is acidic oxide but calcium oxide we know basic. So this is also incorrect, this is also incorrect. So here these are both are boric anhydride I told you B2O3 which is what? Acidic oxide. Silicon dioxide also I told you that is also acidic oxide. So this option is correct. See here we have barium oxide like BaO, barium which is in +2 and oxygen which is in -2. So this is basic oxide. So this is incorrect again. They are asking only about acidic oxide. So option 3 is the best one we can choose here. Okay, so now what about this respect to hydroxides and what is the nature of that compound? See, we know NaOH, again basic oxides upon hydrolysis. What I am saying, basic basic oxides upon hydrolysis. If we add water to this basic oxide, they will form bases, they will give basic compounds, basic hydroxides they will form. What they will form? Hydroxides. For example, hydroxide. For example, if I have Na2O or CaO, upon hydrolysis, upon adding water, they will form NaOH. 2 times NaOH they will form, like NaOH twice, 2 NaOH they will form. So this is about basic oxides. So when it comes to acidic oxides, so these acidic oxides upon hydrolysis, like if I write H2O means that is hydrolysis process. So here it will form like acids, that it means oxy acids, I can say oxo or oxy acids. Okay, so for example, CO2 upon hydrolysis gives carbonic acid, like H2CO3 carbonic acid. Okay, like this. So it should be acidic in nature. Okay, so now NaOH is a basic hydroxide, I can say hydroxide which is in basic in nature. So A2, so here A2, see calcium also forms basic hydroxide only, so that is also correct. Okay, so now just go through the option which are showing this kind of, like A2 is there in every way, so we cannot eliminate. So next B, let us come to B later, again go through. I told you, what about this B2O3? What I told you, this is a acidic oxide now. See, if acidic oxides are hydrolyzed, what we are getting? Acidic oxides upon hydrolysis gives oxo acids, respective oxy acids, so that is H3BO3. So this is acidic oxide, this is acidic in nature, acidic like I can say acidic compound, oxy acid, which is acidic in nature. So D should be what? D is 1. So D1 in which options it is? See, D1 only in 2 options, option 1 and option 4. So remaining options are eliminated over here. So based on the whatever the things we know, we can do accordingly to eliminate, and let us make it simplify. Okay, and one more thing, we know C, both options are different here, so we got our answer. Like calcium oxide is basic, so respect to hydride should also be basic hydroxide. So now C should be 2. So C should be 2 means here only it is 2, here it is 3. So which means first option also incorrect. So you can go through, you can select, you can choose option number 4. So here one more thing, when it comes to second B, see beryllium hydroxide, they are saying it as amphoteric. Yeah, so beryllium forms oxide and beryllium hydroxides, both are amphoteric. These are both are amphoteric. What I am saying, both are amphoteric, you should remember that. Okay, next thing is, here given below are the oxides, which are the number of oxides which are amphoteric in nature. So I will be giving this as an exercise question for you. So just go through classification of elements. I think at the end of the chapter you will be having some list of oxides in the NCERT or whatever the material you have. Just go through that list and choose which of these are basic, which of these are acidic, which of these are amphoteric, and give me the final answer in the comment box. Okay, classify them acidic, basic and amphoteric as a list and give it in the comment box. So thank you for watching. So if you have any doubts regarding this particular topic or any of the topics from chemistry, so you can reach us using either downloading our app MedWorld app, or you can directly contact through the mobile number provided in the description box. Okay, so thank you for watching. Happy learning.